Okay, so I want to talk to you first about glute bridging. This is going to be your basic hip hinge pattern. And so obviously you're going to be on the floor, and I'm going to show you the basic setup, and then we're going to start to play with a few variations to give you some ideas of how you might be able to do this at home. Okay, so the setup for the glute bridge is simply lying down on your back, arms out to the side. Now you'll notice my foot. I have it really close to my rear end. I'm not down here. I want to see a very close heel to the rear end as far as you can. I'm going to point my toes up towards the ceiling because that actually will get my glutes going a little bit more. And all you do is just lift up as far as you can, as high as you can, and you're essentially squeezing your glutes to do this. Now I can hold this for time if I feel like I don't have a lot of strength here. One of the common ways we kind of teach the body to get used to something is just doing a hold, like a plank. So it's called an isometric contraction. So maybe I'll just hold this for 60 seconds. And now as I'm holding it, I'm going to feel a couple things. So I want you to put your hand on your hamstring and put your hand on your rear end to feel your glutes. You should feel like your glutes are firing. And when I poke my hamstring, I feel like it's relaxed. If your feet are too far away and you go up, you'll notice that your hamstring is a little bit more engaged. I want to take that completely out. I want to focus primarily only on the glute. Remember that many clients, many people that we work with, and several of you, like if you sit down a lot, you get a lot of what we call hip flexion, this bending, right? And that actually elongates the glutes and stretches them out. So one of the things that we often have to do with clients and with beginner trainees is to focus neural drive. The nervous system has to figure out, get in the glutes, not the hamstrings. So this is a great basic exercise to kind of work through finding the glutes, getting connected to that area instead of being on firing your hamstrings. Many of you, well, one of the common, I don't want to say complaint, but one of the common pieces of feedback when you're not firing your glute, people say, ooh, my hamstring cramps up. If your hamstrings are cramping up, make sure your feet are as close to your rear end as possible. Try and squeeze your butt. So one of the cues I like to say, pretend there's an object in there that you're really trying to squeeze. And I know it's graphic, but this is really a good cue because you go, oh, okay, I know what that feels like. Squeeze the cheeks together. So hips come up, arms are flat on the ground, 45-degree angle at the shoulder. I'm relaxing. I am squeezing in my glutes, and I'm holding this. Now, maybe this is too easy, okay? So we can do a couple things. Certainly, I can do reps. That's not a big deal. And what I want to make sure is, as we're doing this, make sure that there's a straight line between shoulder and knee. So I want those hips all the way up. I don't want to, this isn't a glute bridge, even though I have space here. This isn't a glute bridge unless it goes all the way up and it's a straight line from knee to shoulder. Okay? Another thing I can do is I can add a little bit of resistance to this. So I've got what's called a rec bag. We have about 4 of these here at the weight room. And it's soft, but it's loaded. This one is 25 pounds. So same setup. Toes in the air, heels are feet are shoulder width apart, and heels are right up near the rear end. Okay? I'm just going to hold my hands here, and I'm going to lift up as high as I can, keep this over my hips. Now I've added some resistance. Okay? You can do it with a plate, you can do it with a bag of books. Get creative. Backpack full of cans. Doesn't matter what it is. Get it on your pelvis. Hold it, and you can now add repetitions of the glute bridge, which will stimulate a little bit more growth as you get better at this. Okay, so let's say now you've gotten pretty good at that. Well, what are some other options? Hey, hips up. Okay, we're gonna hold this position, and now I'm gonna raise a leg. Woo! Oh, that glute is on fire. I'm gonna raise the other leg. And my hamstring probably will get a little bit more active. So you do know that the moment I lift the leg, it's going to turn the whole system on. Hamstring's probably going to come in and try and assist. So make sure that your glutes are in pretty good shape, meaning you've trained them before you do the single leg. You may get a hamstring cramp if you're under conditioned or deconditioned in your glutes and you pop that out. That might be too much, but I can really feel my glute firing here. Little activation here, but primarily here, okay? That's a challenge. You can also do something called the glute bridge march. So just going up and down, up and down. And then we can just take it single leg, right? Right from the ground, right up off the floor, adding a little bit of more challenge because I'm from the starting position, I'm lifting up only on one leg. Keep the toe pointed up, keep the heel close to your rear end, nice flat back, drive the hip up as high as you can, try and find that glute and squeeze. So there are a couple options for you in regards to glute bridging, and try some of these out because I think they're kind of fun, and you might get a little bit of sweat doing this if you are not proficient at glute bridging.